From Washington, this is VOA News. I'm Vincent Bruce reporting Greece will avoid bankruptcy as a result of a new financial agreement. Eurozone finance ministers agreed Friday to extend Greece's bailout loan program for 4 months, overcoming a Greece-Germany standoff. Greek officials are expected to present a list of comprehensive reforms on Monday for the country's debt inspectors to assess. European creditors had insisted that any extension to loans should have strings attached to some budget measures and reforms. The breakthrough sent the global market indices up in Europe and the United States. The Dow was up over 154 points. S&P 500 and NASDAQ also were up. Ukrainian President Petro Poroshenko accused the Kremlin Friday of direct involvement in the sniper deaths of anti-Russian protesters last year in Kyiv's Maidan Square. He made the charge in the first anniversary of the killings, saying Ukraine's security services have the evidence. The Russian Foreign Ministry called the accusation ravings and madness. Meanwhile, amid reported ceasefire violations, the White House said again Friday that Moscow faces higher costs and more isolation if Russian-backed separatists continue violating the ceasefire in eastern Ukraine signed last week. The United Nations envoy to Yemen says rival political parties, including the Shiite rebels that recently seized power in the majority Sunni country, are getting closer to reaching a deal that could prevent the country from sliding into civil war. Jamal Benomar Friday made that statement in his Facebook page. Mohammed al-Basha is a spokesman for the Yemeni embassy in the United States.
I think the correct term to describe his announcement is that the political parties reached a consensus.
The UN envoy Benomar said issues that remain unresolved include the status of the presidency. This is VOA News. Somalia's al-Shabaab Islamic militants have attacked a popular hotel in Mogadishu, killing at least 20 people, including 2 government officials, and wounding the country's deputy prime minister. A VOA reporter in Mogadishu says the first explosion occurred just after guests finished praying Friday at a small mosque inside the central hotel. A second explosion followed, and then gunfire. President Hassan Sheikh Mohamud condemned the attack via Twitter, calling the incident an outrage and saying his thoughts are with those who were hurt. Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack. A UN Commission on Rights Violations in Syria says it is considering publishing some of the names of suspected perpetrators of war crimes in that country's civil war. From the United Nations, VOA's Margaret Bashir has a report.
The 4-person Commission of Inquiry had an informal, closed-door meeting with Security Council members on Friday.
What we share with the Security Council
Lead Commissioner Paulo Pinheiro said afterward that in a bid to end impunity in Syria, the panel will decide by mid-March whether to publish some of the names.
Just to release the names without any follow-up, we don't think that is very constructive.
The Commission has previously compiled 4 confidential lists of alleged perpetrators. Margaret Bashir, VOA News, the United Nations.
The U.S. President Barack Obama's administration is fighting another round in a legal and political squabble over deporting illegal immigrants. White House officials say they will ask for a stay of a judge's order to overturn Mr. Obama's executive actions that would protect many immigrants from legal action. The stay would keep the executive actions in place until the issue is appealed to a higher court. The executive action bypassed Congress and angered many Republicans who took the issue to court. The World Health Organization has approved the first rapid test kit for use in Ebola-affected countries in West Africa. WHO says the test will significantly speed up the process of ferreting out people who have become infected with the deadly Ebola virus. Lisa Schlein reports for VOA from Geneva.
The World Health Organization calls this new antigen rapid test a breakthrough in efforts to detect the Ebola virus, which has infected more than 23,200 people and killed 9,365 in Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea over the past year. WHO spokesman Tarek Jazarovich tells VOA the test is not perfect, but good enough to make a significant difference.
The test can correctly identify 92% of Ebola-infected patients and 85 of those not infected with the virus.
Lisa Schlein for VOA News, Geneva.
More at voanews.com. I'm Vincent Bruce in Washington.
That's the latest world news from VOA.